everybody. This is Joe with eagleeyemold, and I'm bringing you a presentation that I feel is important, especially when buying a home. This situation occurred back in 2021 where a customer purchased a home and finally was able to move in and called me up in a huff saying something's happened in my living room. Within an hour or so, I get there and I'm like, yeah, you're right. There is something odd there. So this is looking from afar. And then I start seeing that there's paneling, molding on the wall. Nothing here, nothing here. And then it continues back. Along with that, I'm looking at the tiles. 2.5 rows of tile are different. And I'm asking my customer, what's going on? What was it said during the inspection? An inspection period. He didn't know. Again, he was a little bit older. He wasn't sure. And I said, all right, let me just take a look at the wall. I look at the wall. I mean, it's all new. It's clean. And I said to him, I said, there's no reason for me to even take a sample. I already know it's going to be negative. There's no smell, no moisture, no reason for it. And I said, you know what? Let me put your mind at ease. Let me look at the rest of the house. So I go upstairs. Everything's fine. No problem. Humidity's good. Climate, no moisture stains, nothing. So I worked my way to the garage, clean, laundry room clean, and I get to this point, and this is the sink-based cabinet, and I see this. I'm like, okay, maybe it's good. If a home inspector is going to miss anything, it's going to miss if there's anything behind here. So I work my way to the back, and I splice this open, pull back the baseboard, and there's a bunch of ecology here. I'm like, oh boy, okay. It's hard to see in a photo, but I took it. This is where my first sample was taken, and what got my attention is this bubbling effect when there is water coming in underneath. This paint above the baseboard will start to peel away and show itself. Now, is it 100% guarantee there's mold? No. Sometimes I've opened this up and it's clean. Sometimes I've opened it up and it's completely black. So it's just an indicator, and this is something that I use to see there's something going on, give me enough evidence to go further, and the sample showed me that there was something going on. I get to the sink base. So this is the sink here. Here's the 2 doors for the sink base. I open it up and I get that whoosh of smell that hits me. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I see the contact paper, and I went to the customer. I says, this is a mess. This is completely missed. And it's been covered up, or at least attempted to cover it up, but the home inspector completely missed this. It didn't make sense. And I was pissed. I went to the customer and I says, weren't you even curious enough to open up the doors yourself to see? And I apologize, but I was hot. I was mad. This shouldn't be, especially after you buy a house. And I says, look, this is where I took my second sample, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I was upset, and I showed him. I said, look, this was a long-term leak. So this is a toe kick, and it goes on for a while. The damage, and this is bowing down, and I was pretty upset. And I look at another cabinet. I see the contact paper. I didn't even bother to go any further. I said, this has been trying to cover up. They're trying to hide it. The seller, the agent missed this. The home inspector missed this, and it was just a shame. And the shame of it is that this person that I was working with now had to deal with this for 3 years. 3 years he had to deal with this with lawyers and going back and forth to court. And I know because I got the subpoenas served to me, regarding this, and I was surprised at the duration of time. And that's what's upsetting about it, is the time that it took to handle a mess that if I was there during the inspection period, I would have had a protocol report saying what needed to be done and what recommendations. Those recommendations would have went to a remediation company, and now an estimate and a value would have been put on what needs to be done and how to resurrect the situation. So whether it needed new cabinets or not, whatever it is, he would have had a price at closing to negotiate on. He never had that, and that's upsetting because again, it was the older guy, life is, the craziness is behind him, and he's just wanted to relax and just enjoy this last house. And he had the stress of 3 years. And then the other thing that, it wasn't said, but what else? If I bought this house and I went through this situation, what else? Was the roof going to fall in? Is the pipes, it's just an uncomfortable situation when that inspection period is not properly done for you. And going to the results, the Aspergillus penicillium on the back wall was 113,000. So there you go. That water went down, it went sideways, it went to the back wall and the adjacent wall. And the kitchen sink base was now 960 ascospores. That's something I see on a long-term leak, especially on a wood surface. Wood floor, real wood floors that are wet a while, boy, these numbers are through the roof, and you'll see a lot of that. Now, again, you have your Aspergillus penicillium, 97,000, but your Cotomium. This is your black mold. This is in the black mold family, and this means this water was going on for a while. Now, the book says if something's wet for 24 to 48 hours, that's when your Aspergillus comes out. That's when your Cladosporiums comes out. Those are your normal front-end molds that start to emerge from that short-term leak. Now, if that leak continues and that same material is wet, now the potential of black mold starts to go up. Now, within 7 to 10 days, the book says, now your black molds start to flourish. Can it be longer? Can it be months? It's hard to say. But that's what the book says. You can see the damages. This definitely was more than 7 to 10 days. All that contact paper was covering up, and that's what was upsetting. And everybody else was sleeping good, and this guy had to deal with this nonsense for a long time. And this is why I bring this up to you, because it drives me crazy that to see this, to know that someone else has to deal with this. And this is why I try to do the best inspection every house that I go to, because when I miss something, it's not good for the customer. And this is my job. Now, as a home inspector, I know all the stuff that's supposed to be done, and I know what this home inspector missed. So I would love to see that report and see how he took pictures of that situation. But in the end, God bless this guy. He made it through. It took a long time. And this is why, it's important. So you guys have a wonderful day. I will talk to you soon. I have more videos coming up. You have a wonderful day, not a green one, all right? Take care. Bye-bye.